Hello everyone, welcome back to Papa's Workshop. I want to talk about dust control, which I have had a discussion many times on my channel. And if you have a CNC machine, you know they generate a lot of sawdust. Today I want to talk about a new product that FOXAlien has. This is a dedicated shop vac, if you will, specifically for the CNC machines. And along with that, you have this dust boot that will attach to your CNC machine. The nice thing about this, you can attach this dust boot to the 400 watt spindle. You can also attach it to the 65 millimeter router, such as the Makita, and there's several other brands out there, and also the DeWalt 611, which is 69 millimeters. All the different adapters come with this dust boot. This is going to be perfect for my shop because I literally can take this dust boot and move it from one machine to another just by simply unscrewing one screw. Today we're going to take a look at the HFS 800 vacuum along with the dust boot and how it will work for all of my CNC machines. This is the new HFS 800. Now that 800 means it's an 800 watt vacuum. You can control the speed right here. Now this vacuum is much quieter than a typical shop vac. And I like the fact that you can control the airflow. If you don't need it to go full blast, well, turn it down and let it do its job at a lower speed. But if you need to have the higher power, you can certainly turn this up to be able to control any particular speed that you need. On the back of this unit, of course, you have the cord where it'll plug in and the off and on switch. And just for those people who are interested, here are the stats. The size of this unit is 430 millimeters by the 235 millimeters, and it's 298 millimeters. So if you want to build some type of a cabinet or an enclosure for this, that gives you the dimensions. The noise, you can see right here that it's listed at 85 decibels. That's not bad compared to the different shop vacs that are on the market. Over on this side, you have the little door where the filters are. And when you get to this section, the first thing is a main dust filter. And you can see that I've been using this one and testing it out, and it's working great. So this is where the bulk of the dust is going to be captured with this first filter, and that's basically your debris filter. And then you have this second filter. Now this second filter is your HEPA filter, and you can see where it's capturing just a little bit of the dust that's getting through this main filter system. And then thirdly, we'll set this one aside. And thirdly, you have a charcoal filter. So anything that is missed by the first two will get captured by this third filter. Now, once all the debris passes through these different filters, you're left with clean air that will exit out the top of this unit. And these filters are very easy to be able to check and make sure that they remain clean. And I would suggest cleaning these filters often. But they just slide in just like that. And that one will slide in. And then you just close the door. I want to shift the attention now over to the dust boot. And you can see how this bottom portion just slips off very easily. Now there's several components that I want to talk about. This bottom portion that snaps off, it actually is held on by these two magnets. And these magnets will hold that on, and it makes it where you can take this bottom portion on and off and easily change the bits. The next thing is you'll notice is this has two different layers of the brushes. Now the first layer is much longer than the second layer, and that helps to be able to control where these brushes contact the project board itself. I like having the two layers of brushes. It gives more control for that dust. Now this first outer ring is actually 69 millimeters, so this will fit on the DeWalt routers. So for an example, on this one I have the DeWalt router set up, and that will fit right onto there. And then I can just tighten the set screw, and that would work perfectly. The next insert that you have is this one, and this will go to the 65 millimeters. So any of the routers on the market, such as the Makitas, would be 65 millimeter. And all you need to do is just drop this right down into there, and then you can attach that the same way we did with the Deepwall 611. To use the insert for the 400 watt spindle, you're going to notice that there is an offset in this circle. And that offset is very, very important. When you insert this into the dust boot, you want to make sure that the offset, the thin portion, is to the rear. That's very, very important to keep the entire dust boot away from the actual Z-axis. If it's the other way, this dust boot will interact and hit that frame, and you don't want that. So that's a very, very important feature that you need to be aware of. So keep this insert where the thin portion's on the back side. This is probably the most important tip that I can give you in this entire video. So there's some really nice features with this, having the ability to have one dust boot to be able to work on multiple different router setups or spindle setups. And I liked the fact that this has the magnetic. And the reason that is so nice, for an example, if I have this insert in here, and this one set up on this machine, I can change the bits, do everything that I need down here, and then when I'm ready to carve, I just slip this on, and the magnets take over, lock it in place, and I'm ready to be able to carve. Now, as far as the connection for the hose, if I put the calipers on here, that's roughly 37 millimeters. Inside, you have about 31.5. So that makes it where any of the hoses that you have that would accommodate that would be able to fit on there. Now, of course, the hose that comes with the FOXAlien easily will fit in there. So let me slip this on. And then this will just fit right into there, and we're ready to be able to carve. One of the nice features about this, if you don't want to use a FOXAlien hose, that's okay. You can use other hoses. This blue hose, for an example, is larger, but it still will work on this dust boot. Now, this hose system is actually from the Rockler Corporation that I had purchased several years ago, and it has a series of several different adapters. Well, this particular adapter fits on perfectly, and then I can just simply screw on the hose, and I'm ready to be able to carve. In today's demonstration, however, I'm going to use the FOXAlien hose, but I promise you, in the future, you'll see a variety of different setups, this being one of them, because I think this is going to be fantastic to be used with some of my other CNC machines, as well as the FOXAlien machines. You could also mount this over to the side. Since this is set up for a 52 millimeters for this spindle, we'll just drop that in. We'll slip this underneath. And I'm going to just put it at about that height for right now. And once you slip this on, then you can just simply tighten this screw, and you have it ready to go. Save these other inserts for when you want to be able to switch it to a different router or spindle setup. Then you'll just be able to put the hose in, connect it to the vacuum, and you're ready to begin carving. To change bits, just simply take this off, change the bits, do what you need to do underneath here, and after you put the bit in and you're ready to carve, just slip this back underneath and you'll be able to connect it and you're ready to carve. For today's demonstration, I'm using an 1/8 inch straight bit. It's an old bit and very dull. This is by design. I want to be able to see if it will tear up the wood, generate a whole lot of sawdust, and just see how effective this system is. Now I have just a scrap piece of 1/2 inch plywood that we're going to use. And I'm going to use this grid that I had cut into this in a previous video. And of course, I'm going to use the glue and tape method. So we'll put that right there. How wide is that? So that's actually 2.5 inches. Having a grid line actually helps to be able to put the tape exactly where it needs to be. We'll put that piece right there. And a bad cut on the back, so we'll just start with this side for the finish. So we'll put the glue and the tape here. I highly recommend using the glue and tape method. This has been very successful for me for a number of years. And yes, occasionally I do use the bump stops and the clamps to be able to hold down the materials. But for this simple test, this will work extremely well. You only need just a little thin bead of the CA glue, and I'm using the medium by Starbond. And then I'll take the accelerator and spray it on this side of the board. And again, it does not take a lot. You don't need to overspray it. And then using the guidelines that are on the CNC machines, I can place this exactly where it needs to be, hold it in place for just a moment, and we're ready to be able to carve. Now that marks my XY0 position, and I'm right on the lines. That makes it where it's actually square. Hold it down for just a couple of seconds, and this is ready. That's not going to go anywhere at all. When you put this dust boot onto the 400-watt spindle, you'll notice that this insert is an offset hole, and that's very important. Because if you have it oriented in this manner, the whole entire dust boot will be shifted too far to the rear, and it's going to hit the Z-axis. So you want to make sure that this is oriented in this direction, so the thin portion of that circle is on the back side, or you can say that this slot is to the front. That'll make a world of difference. What that'll do, it'll pull the dust boot forward and give you plenty of clearance between the dust boot and the Z-axis. You can slip that on just like that. We're going to temporarily tighten it. Then this can actually slip on. Just like that. And we can set the height on where we want this in relationship to the bit down below. And I like having the brushes just slightly higher than where the brushes are going to be and that bit. So I just put my hand down there. I can feel it. It doesn't have to be exact, but that's about probably 0.1, maybe 0.2 of an inch below for that bit. And then I'll just tighten this down. I can install the hose, and we're ready to be able to carve. I know I'm going to get a lot of comments and questions about this. This is just my preferred method. It may be different for you and your shop, but I like the brushes just a little bit higher than the bit. This way, as the bit is carving down into the wood, the brushes get to the point where it will be touching the project board itself, capturing the bulk of the sawdust. I opened up the Open Build software, and you get this unlock alarm when you first turn it on, so we'll unlock that, and then we'll home all. And at this point, the machine will go through the homing cycle. Now you'll notice I removed the hose, and I also removed the bottom portion of the dust boot. This allows me to have access to the bit itself, to be able to monitor the homing operation, and to be able to set the Z-axis with the probe. The machine is now homed right at this spot right here. So now I need to move it to this point right over here. And to do that, I'll jog it 1 inch over, 1 inch up, and that gives me my XY0 position right here, because I had it set this up when I did this grid for 1 inch by 1 inch to give me that location. So that's actually set. There's nothing else that I need to do. Now I'll go ahead and use the Z probe, and we'll probe this and get ready to carve our first carve using our dust boot. This is the probe that comes with the FOXAlien XE Pro. It's 15 millimeters thick. The probe is complete. We have this probe now. We'll set this out of the way. Now I opened up the G-code file from the thumb drive that came with the FOXAlien XE Pro. And we're just going to do this real simple program right here. So I'm ready now to hit the run job, and it will do the process. And let's connect the dust boot, and let's see how this works. All right, we'll slip this on. Use the magnets to hold it right in position. Plug in the hose. So this part is ready. And we'll connect the hose to the dust collector on this end. So I simply plug in that in, and then we'll turn the unit on. So here's a close-up look at the carving itself. You can see the one speck of sawdust there. There's no other really debris around at all, and that's fantastic. This is, however, a very rough, ugly carving, and that's okay. Remember, I use a very dull bit to be able to do this, to generate as much sawdust and debris as possible. And this dust collection system is working amazing, capturing almost every single bit of the sawdust. This is very impressive. Well done, FOXAlien. You have created a product that no one else in the industry has done to be able to have a dedicated dust collection system for the CNC machine. I loaded in a second test file from the FOXAlien folks, and I want to be able to carve this one. Now so far, there's virtually no debris at all. This dust collection system is working fantastic. So I turned the unit back on now, and I'm only having it at that setting. It's about a third of the power. I'm not turning this full blast. So you can see how you can control this very easily. And with this small amount of power, you can see that again, there's virtually no sawdust being generated. Now this is not a pretty carve, it's not intended to. I'm just doing this so you can see how this dust collection system is working and capturing all of the sawdust. Okay, with this dull bit, you can see how it carved, and it cut it quite nicely. There's no sawdust. That's what we're looking for. Well, we did two very simple, ugly projects with this very dull bit, but let's see how much sawdust that we captured. In this first filter, which catches the bulk of the debris, you can see where it captured the different sawdust, and it's all here. So that did pretty good. You can also see some debris inside the cabinet, but let's pull out the second filter. You can see the second filter that there's a little bit of dust that it captured, and you can see the same thing on the back side where it's just a little bit of a shadow of that sawdust where it was captured in that filter. And let's look at the third filter, the charcoal filter. And for this one, really don't see anything but maybe a few little tiny specks of the sawdust. Not bad at all. It's virtually clean. There's a little bit of debris inside that you can see there. As far as up here, that looks completely clean. The fan itself looks completely clean. So overall, I would say very effective. Put that back in. So as with anything else after your job, you should take your filters out and clean these. That way they'll be ready for the next time that you do a carving. Wow is probably the best word that I can say about this new FOXAlien dust collection system. In doing this video, I actually thought about the pros and the cons of this unit. I can think of an awful lot of pros that I really like about this unit, but I really can't think of anything that I don't like. As far as the dust collection system itself, it's quiet, it's strong, it works, it pulls the dust out away from the project extremely well, and it's adaptable. If you want to use a different hose system, you can very easily. Then as far as the dust boot itself, again, wow is the term that comes to mind because it's so versatile. You can not only have it on this 400-watt spindle, but you can have it on a variety of different routers, including the DeWalt 611 and the Makita and many other brands routers that people are using every day. So if you need a dust collection system in your shop that will work for a variety of different CNC machines, this is something that I think you need to take a look at very, very closely. So far, even though the project that we did today was extremely rough by design, the dust collection system worked fantastic. There is no debris that I really need to clean up to get ready for the next project. One of the things that I always want to be able to do is be able to tell you the pros and the cons. As I mentioned, there's a lot of pros to this system. But if there had to be one thing that I really didn't like about this whole entire dust collection system is this hose. This hose does not have any means to be able to support it. I would love to see some type of design that would support this hose and keep it up and out of the way of the spindle, of the project itself, and the related items around the CNC machine. So for the FOXAlien folks out there, I hope you can come up with a very simple design that would be able to support the hose. But as far as the dust collection system itself and this dust boot, hats off to you guys at FOXAlien. You've outdone yourself this time. You did an amazing job, and I love having this product in my shop. If you would like to take a look closer at this product and visit their website, I do have a link below in the description so that you can take a look at this product on their website and the other products that they have. But while you're there, go ahead and subscribe. Right down there, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification, because I will be doing some additional projects, I should say real projects, not this one, that will be putting this to the test even more. And I hope that you'll come back and visit to see the different projects that I'm doing. So for now, guys, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you in the next video and the next project that I'm working on, whatever that happens to be. So for now, bye-bye, and I can't wait to see you real soon in the next project.